So, we are aware that vibrations are a real thing, correct? And what I mean by vibrations is everyone in here is giving off a vibration. That's how great God is. God is just so great that even every one of God's creations give off that God energy, us included. And with vibrations, we know that as I'm vibrating, ripples are going toward everyone, but ripples are also coming toward me. Then it just made me realize that, well, this thing we call life, this thing we call humanity, is really just one big old pool party. And there's ripples all in the universe. And then I thought, well, if it's a pool party, what is the most important? What is the most important part, most important rule of being in a pool with everybody? And I think everyone knows where I'm going with this. We all want a clean pool. But when we bring our stuff to the pool party, it dirties up the pool. Now, I am going to be very, very transparent today. I am going to be spiritually nude in front of everyone. I am my worst critic. I promise you, there is no hater on the planet who can dissect me more than I can. So when something happens in my life that gives me an opportunity to beat myself up, I take it. Even when it's being late to church. By the time I've arrived to church, you don't have to say anything to me. I have given myself a million black eyes on the way here. And then when I realize that by the time I get here and there's all these beautiful smiling faces looking at me just happy that I'm here, I'm too busy beating myself up to appreciate that love. I know this behavior very well. I recognize it when I see others who participate in it, which is why I understand very much that grace is important. Grace is important even more than we know right now in this moment. It's important. Because when we don't, we bring that stuff to the pool party. Now, as much as we pray and meditate and do all that great stuff because we are Californians, let's also be honest. Every last one of us gets very irritated in rush hour traffic. Oh, yes, you do. Cut it out. And we say things that we did not even realize we could say because we get angry. This is why I believe all words are holy. I didn't grow up in one of those holy words. That's a bad word. No, we didn't believe that. There's places for those words, and some words are adult, and you have to earn your right to finally say those words, young man. But every word, it's about intention. What's the intention you put behind that word? That's totally different. For many of us, the opportunity to hold ourselves in a harsh accountability becomes so habitual that we forget that now we do this to everyone else. See, I can't give the world grace if I'm not giving it to myself first. And so I realize now those times where a celebrity or someone disappointed me and I did not let them off the hook, I knew what that was from. That's from the place in me where I'm ashamed. Where I looked at the times where I embarrassed myself, where I did something I did not realize I could do, and I was ashamed and held myself in contempt. So when I see others do it, I get to attack that place in me that I'm seeing in someone else because we're all just mirrors to each other anyway. Do you take your vitamins and your supplements regularly? Do you? I'm really asking. I'm in your business out. Do you take them? I try to take mine. Yeah? Okay, all right, I respect that. I know with me, being a skinny kid, taking my protein powder was very important. Because I was trying to bulk up. I was tired of getting teased for being so skinny. Tired of going to the pool party and leaving my shirt on while I swim. So I made it a point to take my protein powder every single day. We're forgetting to take our grace tablets as well. Are you taking your grace tablets regularly? Are you taking them? I'm talking about hourly. We need you taking those tablets. We need you with God capacity so you can love on the world, because how you love on the world makes the world what it is. When we're seeing chaos, we're seeing people who forgot how holy they truly are. And we've all had moments in our lives where that holy knowingness that we are was challenged, and we gave in to the illusion. It's okay, that's part of the process, but we gave in to the illusion. You can never not be holy. Understand, that's how great God is. You can never be separate from God, but what we can do is convince ourselves that we are separate from God and play a role that comes from that. The villain is just somebody who never forgave themselves. Understand that. Every story you see, the villain is someone who had a dark moment and never got over the moment. And we all know we've had times in our lives where we have been the villain. Can you love yourself through it? Can you let yourself off the hook? Don't look at me like, oh, you know about that. Yes, I'm telling you, I have been the villain plenty of times. And I know that when I'm loving on myself, I am way much better to the world around me. But I have to give myself that time first. That's why I need so much alone time. That's why I need that. It's me dissecting those dark moments in my life and remembering, no, you are still God. That was just a moment. It passed. Now, for sports fans out there, this is a very important story. This is around the time where Michael Jordan was still dominating the NBA. Okay, the way Steph Curry was just shooting the ball, we weren't doing that then. Everybody wanted you to dunk. If you made a three-point, we'd be like, what is that? And so then there was this player by the name of Nick Anderson who played for the Orlando Magic. Nick Anderson had an amazing jump shot. He could drain it from anywhere. And now we find him in this moment where he's in the playoffs, and if I'm not mistaken, against the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan's team. And Nick goes to the line. If I remember the story correctly, he only needs to make one free throw. One. This is an amazing shooter. This is Steph Curry before Steph Curry. A free throw. Psh. He misses the first one. And we're shocked. Like, what? And he starts beating up on himself immediately, and his teammate, Dennis Scott, looked him dead in the face and said, cut that out. No, you don't. You are the man. You remember that, right? You can do this. And he's like, you're right. And he misses the second one. That's not what hurts. What hurts is all the following seasons after that, where we can see that he never got over that moment, where we can see that it affected his game. He did certain things that didn't make sense because we finally realized, oh my goodness, he's still afraid to go to the free throw line. It affected his entire career, y'all. It was heartbreaking to watch. It was heartbreaking. Nick Anderson, what are you doing? But as much as we all love to criticize him and laugh, we all have to be real with ourselves. How many times in my life have I let a moment like that define me as well? How many times? Are you able to let yourself off the hook? Are you able to love yourself through it? Yes, there's always going to be that person who never lets you forget. Yes. But are you there to listen? That's where it is right there. Inside, I myself am still just a frightened little boy. And I want to hide that because I feel vulnerable when I'm that frightened little boy. And of course, because God is a practical joker, God always rips those covers off and says, I see you, and I get angry, and because I'm still that scared little boy. And so you, the community, gives me that message regularly that I see you and I don't like it. And I get all puffy and I got to protect my pride. And hey, don't do that. But what's really going on is that I'm still that scared little boy. When I see people use their platforms to preach hate and separation and fear, I recognize what's going on. You are just a scared little boy. That's what you're doing. I don't have to give in to your temper tantrum. If I truly believe that I am divine, it is actually my responsibility to see a scared little boy and not to see fear. That is my responsibility. It is our responsibility as divine beings to see the divine in everything God shows us. That's our job. Are we praying when we watch the news? Are we affirming what the truth is? Are we giving grace to those who are giving in to the illusion? Are we doing that? And I'm not preaching to y'all. I'm talking to myself right now. I just need y'all here so that I don't feel crazy for doing it. Are you taking your daily dose of grace? Understand that when irritable people get to the party isn't so fun. Now, isn't. But when people come, they're in the mood and ready to party, that's a different kind of party. Don't sit here and just talk about my music. I know what generation y'all are from. I used to listen to all my dad's records. Y'all are from that same generation where Cynthia told all the squares to go home. Remember that? Dance to the music, Sly Stone. All the squares go home. I remember that. That wasn't very nice. Until you realize what she meant. You got to know you're cool. You got to know that you are God in the flesh. You got to know that everything about you is awesome. And if you come with that, I do not know who I am energy, you're messing up the flow of the party. It's time for you to go home. You're not ready yet. That's what that means. Work on yourself. Remember how cool, amazing, and beautiful you are before you come here, because we know right here. And we need you to know, or else the party is going to be out of whack. Are you giving yourself grace? Are you forgiving yourself? Are you loving yourself through those dark moments? Peace and love, Home of Truth. Namaste.